So I have a question to ask you. And it might be a stupid question, or it might be an obvious question, but I'm just going to ask it anyway. What exactly are you thankful for? To me, it's almost like a no-brainer. But at the same time, it's almost like the question is too hard to answer because there's too many things to say. I mean, like, I'm thankful for absolutely everything. And I'm talking about everything. Things that you probably don't even think of saying, I'm going to say. I mean, like, and this is in no particular order because there's no way in a million years that I could put all this stuff in order. But I'm thankful for my health. I'm thankful that I'm alive. I'm thankful that I have a car. I'm thankful that my car works. There's a lot of people out there that have cars, but their cars ain't moving. They're just sleeping in their cars, or their cars are just sitting somewhere collecting dust, collecting bird droppings. The car's not moving. I'm thankful that I have a job to keep my car moving. Because a lot of those cars that are sitting there collecting dust, collecting bird droppings, the people that own them don't even have jobs to get those cars moving. So I'm thankful that I have a job. I'm thankful that in my job, I make good money, enough money to support myself. Not enough money to buy a house or buy a brand new dump truck for my junk removal business or anything like that, but I'm thankful for what I got. I'm thankful that my job keeps me above water. As far as the other things, I'm thankful that God will give me all those things in due time when He knows that I can handle it. I'm thankful for my mom's health. I'm thankful that my mom and I's relationship is getting better and better and better. I'm thankful that I'm no longer on meth anymore. I'm thankful that I'm not addicted to drugs anymore. As much as I loved smoking weed, and I remember so many times saying, I'm going to smoke weed until the day I die, I'm thankful that I don't smoke weed anymore. Kind of thankful. Sometimes I'm not going to lie, sometimes I miss certain parts of smoking weed. But ultimately, I'm thankful that I don't smoke anymore because ultimately, I'm not lazy anymore. I don't eat as much as I did. I have more motivation. I have more drive. Like, I want to do more things. I want to go out. I want to do things. So I'm thankful for all that. I'm thankful that my house has power. Because there's a lot of people that are living in houses or trailers or apartments, and they don't have power. I remember living in Georgia, and I lived in an apartment, and we didn't have power. I was barely making enough to pay the rent. And that's the thing, is I had a really good job out there. I was working for Home Depot. I was a manager at Home Depot. But you can have the best job in the world, and if you're not responsible with your money, you're going to live how you're going to live. And we had no power. I had a roommate. I got my roommate a job at Home Depot, and then less than a month later, I had to fire him because he was caught sleeping on the job. And I remember using our fireplace to roll up like pieces of cardboard into little logs and put them in the fireplace, and that's how we'd light that up, and we'd have a pot of water, and we'd stick the pot of water in the fireplace until the water boiled, and then we'd throw some spaghetti noodles in there and put that in there until it got nice and soft. And then we'd pour that in a bowl, and then we'd put our spaghetti sauce in there, put that in the fireplace until it started simmering, until it started getting heat. I'm so glad and thankful that I don't have to do that anymore. We used to walk around Georgia looking for anything that we can burn in our fireplace so we can eat, so we can prepare our meals. Boxes, books on the side of the road. Anything that we could find, paper, boxes, cardboard, anything that we could find to burn, we would collect it and keep it on our balcony so we always had something to burn, so we always had something to eat. I'm so glad. I'm so thankful that I don't have to live like that anymore. I'm thankful that I am learning how to be a better Christian. I'm totally not there yet. The process is not complete yet. I don't know when it will be. I don't know if it'll ever will be. But I'm okay with that. But I'm so thankful that I'm not the person I was a year ago. And I'm so thankful that I'm not the person I was 5 years ago. I am so thankful that I'm no longer in toxic relationships. At the time, I thought I was in a great relationship. No, I can't say that. At the time, I knew it was a toxic relationship. I knew it. I mean, like, granted, we still talk. We're still friends, I guess you could say. I mean, I can't really say friends. I mean, I haven't seen her in over a year, but we chit-chat, on, like, Facebook Messenger, we don't ever kick it together in person. Like I said, I haven't seen her in over a year. We're probably not going to see each other because that's the one thing that I've realized in all these years is that her and I, are each other's kryptonite. I can go off and do good on my own. She can go off and do good on her own. And we can resist temptation from both sides. She can resist temptations on her side. I can resist temptations on my side. But for some weird reason, every single time me and her hang out or we get together, something bad happens. Like, she does something she regrets. I do something I regret. So I'm thankful that I don't have to worry about that anymore. I'm thankful that I'm coming up on 3 years clean. I'm thankful that I don't have to go to NA meetings anymore. Don't have to go to NA meetings anymore. Don't get me wrong, the NA meetings, for the most part, did what they're supposed to do. They kept me in line. They kept me in check. I'm not going to say 100% because a lot of times I relapse and it was from going to too many NA meetings. Because in the NA meetings, all they do is talk about dope. Dope, 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 dope. But you can only talk about dope and be around other people that talk about dope so long before you go and relapse. All it takes is for you to find that one weakling in the group that doesn't mind falling off and starting all over again, and then boom, relapse. So I'm glad that I don't have to worry about that anymore. I'm glad that God keeps me strong. I was going to say God is my sponsor, but no, I don't even need a sponsor anymore because God has completely removed that label of me being an addict. I am not an addict anymore. I don't consider myself an addict. Other addicts would be like, oh, well, once you're an addict, you're always an addict. That's because that's the devil putting that label on you, and you don't know how to get it removed. You know how to go to NA meetings, and you know how to keep it under check and curb those cravings and curb those temptations and curb that addict whatever feeling, but it's just because you don't know how to remove the label of being an addict. And somewhere in the Bible, I don't remember what verse or where it is, but somewhere in the Bible it says those who have lack of knowledge will perish. So it's simply, if you're going to NA meetings and everything, that's great, that's fine. I don't go to NA meetings because I found the knowledge that I was looking for to free me from being an addict. So I am so thankful that I found that, and that I no longer have to rely and depend on NA meetings to keep me clean. I don't have to worry about that anymore. God keeps me clean. God removes all those toxic thoughts in my head. That's what I tell him every day. Is God, remove these toxic thoughts. When I start having weird thoughts, the same thoughts that I used to have when I used to do drugs and when I used to tweak and when I used to be out there running and gunning, when I have those same thoughts, I stop myself right there. I don't entertain the thoughts. I used to entertain those thoughts, and when I entertained those thoughts, it would lead to a relapse. Now I don't entertain those thoughts. Now, every time I start thinking bad, I stop myself immediately. Soon as I find out that I'm thinking bad, I stop myself. And I say, God, remove those evil thoughts, remove those toxic thoughts. And then I will purposely make myself think about something else, anything else. I'm getting a delivery. Let's see what this is. I'm also thankful for this overcast weather because, man, the camera looks so good recording with this overcast weather. It's not too sunny. Well, I just went under a tunnel right now. Well, there we go. It's not too sunny. The overcast makes the light perfect for the camera. I mean, holy cow, I wish it was like this all the time. There's no sun glare beaming in my face. There's no sun glare flashing in the camera. I mean, it's just perfect recording weather. I'm so thankful for that because it's hard. I mean, as you guys know, I record 90% of my YouTube videos are in my car while I'm door dashing. Probably 95% of them. And sometimes it's great. I get light just like this, where it's perfect. Other times I get the sun flashing in my eyes. I'm sure you guys have seen videos where it's doing that, so I am so thankful today that the weather is overcast and I can record this video with the perfect amount of light. It's just amazing. I love it. I'm thankful that my computer works so I can upload all my videos. I'm thankful that I have internet so I can upload all my videos. I'm thankful that you guys are all subscribed to my YouTube channel. And I'm thankful that every day or every week or every month I get more and more and more subscribers. Okay, I gotta pause this and see where I'm at because I think I'm getting close to the address. You know what? I'm also really thankful that when I wake up and I have a bad day and I just can't find my joy or my peace to save my life, I'm thankful that I can run down this list. I could it says, like Joel says, find gratitude in one of his books that I'm reading. It's find gratitude in your day. Every time you find yourself battling the day and you're tempted to start thinking bad thoughts or anxiety or depression or anger, find things to be grateful for, and start saying those things out loud or in your head, So that's what I'm thankful that I can do, because not every day is an awesome day. Well, every day ends up being an awesome day, but not every day starts off being an awesome day. I choose to make it an awesome day, because if I wake up and I'm battling a bad mood or I'm battling anxiety or whatever it is that I'm battling, I choose to find something to be grateful for. And I just keep telling myself, I keep thinking to myself, what are you grateful for? What are you grateful for? And that's when every little thing comes into play. I'm thankful that I have a roof over my head. I'm thankful that I have a job, and I start just going through the list of all the things that I'm thankful for. And before you know it, I'm in a good mood again and I'm ready to tackle my day, and nothing can steal my joy at that point, because once I can pull myself out of that hole of, being upset or depressed or whatever it is. Wow, she's cute. Okay. Anyway, once I can find that I can pull myself out of there, then there's nothing that can steal my joy. And I know that, sorry, that cute girl totally distracted me. And that's another thing I'm thankful for. I am single at the moment, and I am thankful that I am single because it allows me to find myself and become the best version of myself without any distractions, But I know that there is a divine connection out there waiting for me. I know there is a girl out there that is right with the Lord and lives her life just like I do and is looking for a guy just like me, and I'm looking for a girl just like her, and I know that God is working on me and God is working on her, and I know that this is where my faith comes in. I know that at the right time, our paths are going to cross. When she can handle it and when I can handle it, God is going to make our paths cross, and it's going to be a divine connection. She's going to be someone better than I've ever imagined, something better than I expected, and God's going to make that happen at the right time. I am thankful for that. I am so thankful for that, because I would love to be with a woman that has just as much faith as I do, and loves God just as much as I do, and loves the Lord just as much as I do, and loves church, and can think like I do. Even if she can't think like I do, she's open to let me help her, in her journey, like I help you guys, you know what I mean? Like, if she's having a bad day, I can help her have a better day, If she comes home from work and she's facing anxiety and all these things, I can help her have a better day, and vice versa. I'm so thankful that is coming, and it's not going to be 1 second late. It's going to be when we both are ready and we both can handle it and we're both ready for it, then boom, our paths are going to cross, and it's going to be a divine connection. I'm so thankful for that. Let's see, what else? I am thankful that me and my house will serve the Lord. I used to always, it's weird because my mom is the one that turned me on to Joel. She's the one that got me watching Joel Osteen from Lakewood Church. She's the one that turned me on to them and everything. But then I just dove head first into my faith and into the church and into Joel's sermons and podcasts. And I've read like all of his books. I've listened to probably most of his sermons, or a lot of his sermons. I mean, I don't know, maybe not most of them. The guy's been preaching for 27 years. But I've listened to a lot of his stuff. And I'm thankful that my mom has turned me on to him, but I've surpassed her. She's even told me straight up, I've surpassed her faith-wise and everything. And I used to always wonder, how can I get my mom to where I am without feeling like I'm forcing the religion on her? But then I learned through Joel that as long as I'm learning about God, as long as, I'm doing everything in my power to learn about the Lord and learn about God and learn about how to be a better version of myself, that carries on throughout my house. That's why that saying, me and my house will serve the Lord. Because without me having to try, without me having to really push anything on my mom, she sees the things that I'm doing. She sees the reaction, or she sees the way it affects me. Like in the past, we would get into an argument and I would just explode, and I would just fly off the handle and just go crazy. We'd get into these huge heated arguments and curse each other out and whatever. But she sees that I'm learning about honoring your parents, and now we don't get into those big arguments anymore. Hey, I got a delivery. I'll have to continue this in a second. Okay, yeah, I'm not taking that order. So anyway, I used to always wonder, like, how am I going to get my mom to be on the same page as me? But she is, just from watching me, like I have my little prayer book that I showed you guys before in another video, Pray It Forward, that I got from Lakewood Church. And it's just got daily prayers in it, that you can say every day. It has peace, joy, wisdom, gratitude, strength, opportunity. The whole book is filled with, every page is a different prayer. So she sees me, the first thing I do, as soon as I wake up, before my feet even hit the floor, is I grab that bed, because when I go to bed the night before, I put 3 books by my bed. My Bible, and then another book from Joel about daily, I don't remember what it's called right off the top of my head, but it's just the most recent book that I got from Joel, and then my prayer book. And I put them right next to my bed, so that way, as soon as I wake up in the morning, I turn my light on, I grab my prayer book, I say, a couple prayers out of there. Sometimes it's 2, sometimes it's 3, sometimes it's 5, whatever I'm feeling that morning. But I say those prayers, and then I put that down, And my mom asked me one day, can you put that prayer book somewhere where I know without bothering you, because she sees me reading the Bible because I read my prayer book, then I read that other devotional book, and then after the devotional book, I read my Bible. And she says, I don't want to bother you while you're reading your Bible or whatever, but I've told her before, I'm like, hey, if you're ever having a hard day or a hard time, you're more than welcome to read my prayer book because it really helps. And I showed it to her and everything. And then she was like, okay, and then one day she says, hey, I really am interested in checking out your prayer book, but I don't want to bother you and ask you where it is when you're in the middle of reading your Bible. So when you're done with it, can you just put it over here? So when I see it sitting over there, I know that you're done with it. So I said, sure. So I put it there, and sure enough, she started picking it up. And she started reading it, and she doesn't do it every day, and that's fine. It's not like there's no expectations on my part. I'm just glad that she's picking it up and she's reading it. And I can see through her daily actions that those prayers are helping her. So I'm thankful that me and my house will serve the Lord. And it's working. It's great. It's great. Man, I just love God and I just love the Lord. And I'm so thankful that He forgives my sins and He doesn't hold them over my head. He doesn't make me feel guilty about it. Satan tries to make me feel guilty, but in my little prayer book, there's a guilt prayer that I say. If I'm feeling guilty, there's a guilt prayer that I say, that's like, Satan, get behind me. I'm not going to let you make me feel guilty for something that God has already forgiven and He's already forgotten it. He doesn't even hold my sins against me. I ask for forgiveness and I ask Him to forgive my sins, and then I thank Him for forgiving them and forgetting them and for not judging me. I'm thankful for that. I'm thankful that the God that we serve is the same God yesterday, today, and forever. And you guys hear me say that a lot in my videos also. And what that means is that God will do, if God did something for somebody in the past, and I mean in the past, back in biblical days, if He healed somebody from leprosy back then, He will heal somebody from a disease or a sickness today, and He will heal somebody from another sickness or a disease in the future. He's the same God yesterday, today, and forever. And not just for me. If He does that for me, He'll do it for you. If He did it for Paul, He'll do it for me. If He did it for me, He'll do it for you. I got another order. That's one of the things that I love about God. Is He is the same yesterday, today, and forever. And I learned that from watching Joel, because Joel's sister Lisa, she's also a pastor, and she's great. I've read a lot of her books also and listened to a lot of her sermons. But when she was born with something like cerebral palsy. And the doctors told her family that she's never going to be able to walk. She's never going to be able to talk. She's never going to be able to feed herself. She doesn't have sucking abilities. So feeding herself will be nearly impossible. And Joel's parents didn't take that. They didn't receive that. Her dad went and checked himself into a hotel room, and for a week he just dove into the Bible all day and all night long. He just dove into the Bible because he knew that there had to be something that he was missing in the Bible. And what he found out is that in the Bible, it teaches about how Jesus healed all these people, healed the blind, healed people with leprosy, healed people that were paralyzed. And then in seminary, which is the place that you go to learn how to become a pastor, in seminary, they taught him, Joel's dad, that all those miracles and all that stuff are all in biblical times. God doesn't do those miracles anymore. But they were wrong, because he learned while he was in that hotel room, he learned that God still does those miracles today. We don't have to be in biblical times. Like, he did those miracles in biblical times. He did those miracles today, and he'll do those miracles tomorrow. That's when he learned that God is the same God yesterday, today, and forever. And he just started praying those prayers and asking God to heal his daughter. And after a lot of that, it didn't happen overnight, but today, Lisa Osteen is perfectly healthy. 100%. She's married. She's happily married, has kids. She's living her best life. And if her dad would have accepted the fact that, her condition was her condition, she would not have this life. But he didn't accept that. He went to God and was like, God, I know that you can heal her. You healed people with leprosy. You healed the blind. You healed, the lame. If you can heal all those people, you can heal my daughter. And he did not give up. He just kept going and going and going and praying and praying and praying on that. And today she is perfectly healthy. That is a fact. I love that story. I love that story. But I got to go pick up this order. Man, like as soon as I got out of the car to go grab that order, I was getting emotional from talking about Lisa's story. And it was a good thing that we stopped right then, because I probably would have started shedding a little bit of tears, because her story touches me every single time, because it just shows us how faithful and how loving and how caring and how true our God really is. That's what I love about faith and about my religion, or about just faith. That's what I just love about it. It's not like science, where science is your best guess. Math is it could be wrong or it could be right. There's so many things in life that could be wrong or they could be right, depending on the information you have, or depending on whatever. But religion is not like that. And that's what I love about it, is that I want to better my life. I want to become the best version of myself so I can please God and get through the narrow gate. I want to spend eternity with God. I want to walk side by side with Jesus and sing songs and praise and all that stuff, when I go to my next, when I'm done with this life, when I move out of this tent, which is this body, and I go to my permanent residence in heaven. I want to know for sure that that's going to happen. And knowing how I know for sure that's going to happen is by reading the Bible and by applying every single thing that the Bible teaches to my life. And if I do that, I know for certain that I will spend eternity with Christ. And that is amazing. That's what I love about faith, and that I love about religion, is there is no, if you do it this way, you might get there, or if you do it that way, you might. No. You do it the way the Bible says to do it, and you will spend eternity with Christ. That's it, hands down. And I love that. And I am so thankful for that. Man, I am so thankful that I finally found something that there is no gray area. There is no maybe area. It is a yes or a no. And I am on the yes side, and I will always be on the yes side, and I will never not be on the yes side. I just love God. I love that I'm a Christian, and I love everything about my life. And I'm also thankful, like I said, I'm also thankful that all of you are subscribed to my channel. And I'm so thankful that you guys watch these videos and that you guys are learning from these videos, because that's that's like the best that I can do. Is like, I want to help everybody. I've always been like that. I've always been the type of person that loves to help people. And since I've recommitted my life to Christ, and I've found, this new thing in life that I am working towards becoming the best version of myself, I ask God all the time, how can I get everybody else in life to become the best version of themselves? How can I bring as many people to heaven as possible, and it's through doing these videos, like I don't just have an idea and just come on camera and just start spitting out, like my, like I ask God, I pray to God, before a lot of these videos, and I ask him, like, God, help me to get your message across the way you want me to get it across. Don't let me cloud my viewers, my subscribers' heads with all this garbage and stuff that's not true. I don't know a lot about a lot. I only know a little about a little. And, I just ask God, help me speak through me and help me deliver the message that you want me to deliver. And that's why I think really hard sometimes before I say something, because I want to make sure that I'm stating, that I'm telling you guys the right stuff, and if there's something that I'm not sure of, I have no shame in admitting that I don't know the answer, because I don't know the answer to like everything. I'm not a freaking like rocket scientist, there's a lot of things that I don't know. This faith walk with me is like new, it's so new for me. So yeah, if I don't know it, I'll tell you I don't know it, but I will definitely find out what the answer is. Like that's the beautiful thing, is I have resources that I can find out what the answers are. So what else are you thankful for? What else am I thankful for? Oh, well, I'm glad you asked. I am thankful that I have patience, that I have gratitude, that I have wisdom. Like I said, those without wisdom will perish. Those without knowledge will perish. The saying is something like that in the Bible. Basically, like, you got to learn. You got to constantly be learning, constantly be learning how to better yourself and push yourself forward, so God can eventually bring you to your destiny. He can't bring you to your destiny if you're not trying to improve yourself. So I'm thankful that I have the determination, that I have the willpower, that I have the strength, that I have the patience to push myself to the next level and let God bring me to my destiny, whatever that is. I don't know what it is, but I know whatever it is, it's better than anything I've ever imagined. I could try to plan the best life for myself through every avenue of life. I could try to plan the best house, the best neighborhood, the best wife, the best car, the best job, everything. And none of that is anything near what God is going to do in my life. And that's what I'm looking forward to. I think I might be going the wrong way. All right, so I think I've pretty much gotten my point across. I am thankful for a lot of things, lots and lots of things. And, anytime you guys feel in a rut, or if you feel like your day is not starting off on the right foot and it's not starting off happily and peacefully the way you want it to, just go through your gratitude list. Just start thinking of every little thing that you are grateful for. And I guarantee you, sometimes you may think of 5 things, sometimes you might think of 3 things, sometimes you might think of 10 things. But the number is different for everybody. But I guarantee you, the more you are grateful for, and the more you start recognizing all the things that you're grateful for, the happier your day will get. Like, I promise you that. Like, it works for me, and I guarantee you it'll work for you. That's just the way it is. Like, I forgot the term that Joel said it is, but when we start thinking happy thoughts, our brain just naturally starts producing happy thoughts. That's just like when you start thinking bad thoughts, and then next thing you know, your whole day goes to crap. It's because your brain, there's literally a scientific term, I forgot. Joel mentioned it in one of his videos, and I forgot what it is. But when your brain starts thinking a certain way, it just starts creating more and more thoughts of whatever it is that you're thinking. So always try to think happy thoughts. Always try to think joyful thoughts. Always try to be in peace and love and gratitude. And I promise you, you guys will have the best life. You guys will eventually get to become the best versions of yourself. I promise you that. My name is Coy. Thank you so much for watching my best version of me. Please comment below. Tell me what you're thankful for. And if you're not subscribed to my channel, please like and subscribe and share this video with others. And it'll really help push my channel out to more people like yourselves that want to see these videos. Thank you so much for watching. My name is Coy. I love you guys. Peace out and God bless. Real quick, one of the things I love is to watch birds fly parallel with the water, and they're just, I'm driving right next to the water, and I'm looking at these two birds flying, and it looks like they're like an inch above the water, and they're just going side by side, just flying parallel with my car. This whole way I've been on the water, and they're just going. I love to see that, like that. I don't know why, that just like is so cool. It's almost like an emotional thing for me. I don't know why, I just love to see that. Also, another thing that I'm really, really thankful for, and this is helping me become the best version of myself, is that I have the willpower and the strength to let things go, to not let things bother me. You know, like if somebody cuts me off in traffic, if somebody's rude to me while I'm picking up a DoorDash order or anything like that, like I have the willpower to just let it go and just let it ride and just stay in my own lane and run my own race without having the need or the feeling to get even, because that's wrong. Like the Bible says not to do that. Like, you know, you just are just supposed to just love thy neighbor, love thy enemy, forgive thy neighbor, forgive thy enemy. You know, you're not supposed to you're not supposed to, you know, if somebody cuts you off, like try to hurry up and get the chance to cut them off, you know, or get even with them, you know, just let them go, you know. So I am so thankful that I have that willpower to do that, because that is also going to help you get closer and closer to becoming the best version of yourself. I don't know if I already said this, but I'm also thankful that I have God's favor. God's favor is what gives you, God's favor is what gives you, God's favor is what gives you like all of your, like when you're driving around a parking lot and you can't find a parking spot, and then the parking spot right next to the front door opens up. That's not a coincidence. That's God's favor. And the more you live your life the way the Bible wants and the way God wants, the more of God's favor you will see. And that comes in every shape and form, in every way, every single day, from long lines, somebody letting you get up in front of the line, finding a parking spot, somebody having patience with you. Like, that's all God's favor. And I'm so thankful that I have God's favor. Okay, I got to go get this delivery order delivered.